investors.
I am here with the Property Challenge podcast.
I teach investors all around the world how to become real estate investors and
how to overcome their challenges. Join me here every single week. PCP, the Property Challenge podcast.
When I started this podcast and when I said, what am I going to talk about? I said the best name is
the Property Challenge.
Hey investors, welcome back to another episode of the Property Challenge podcast with your host, me, Terrica Lynn Smith. And I told you guys I was going to be sharing some dirty laundry with you guys, and I know you've been waiting. But before I share it, I need you to do me a favor. I need for you to click the subscribe button and share this with 3 people that you believe is going to bless them, okay? I am about to share with you some behind the scenes footage and information, probably not footage, but just information on what takes place with a company that's worth a multi-million-dollar company and how we deal with certain things, okay? So click that link below, subscribe, and share with 3 people. Now, last week, I did mention to you guys that I was going to share this, and let me start by saying this. I prayed a prayer. I prayed a prayer that I did not know the true consequences / rewards that will come from this prayer. This prayer caused a hurricane in my life, a natural hurricane in my life, okay? And so I would start with saying I did not know what sleeper cells were until the government introduced them to us and told us that we had sleeper cells that was here in the United States and that all they're waiting on is for their leader to activate them. So I said, God, I wonder how many sleeper cells do I have on my team? Like how many people do I have on my team that has been sent here to destroy, to blow up, to tear down every single thing that we've built? So I prayed a prayer. It's about 2 months ago, and I went on a fast. I said, God, reveal any sleeper cell that's lying dormant here. Even if the sleeper cell doesn't work here, even if it's attached to someone I love, God, just reveal the sleeper cell. I don't want to be blindsided. And so when I prayed that prayer, I fasted, and it was just a simple prayer. Because at this point in time in my career, I'm like, I don't want to meet a whole lot of new people because it's exhausting. But I do know that my assignment is to reach a lot of new people. So I'm really like trying to walk this out with God the best way I can, where I'm honoring God first, but also being cautious of who I allow around me. There are so many people that try to come and be my friend. That's really not my friend. There's people that comes because they idolize me. There's people that comes because they're witches and warlocks. There's people that come just to be nosy. There's people that come because they don't even know why they come, right? Let's just be honest. But at this particular point in time, when I prayed that prayer, I did not expect what happened to happen. So probably about a week within that prayer, the first part activated. They had some shoo-shooing going around the office. I don't really pay attention to that because of the simple fact I've learned a long time ago, if you focus on $5 problems, you'll stay in a $5 situation. So I don't really entertain a lot of gossip in my office, if I'm being honest. And it got to the point where people were in positions and roles where they have been quite some time. And you would think that these people that's in these roles would have your back and would, sharpen you if they felt like you were wrong. The Bible says iron sharpens iron. And so at some point in time, the enemy has whispered that they could not come and have a conversation with me in regards to what they may believe I may have done wrong and are offended. So I never got the chance to deal with that rebuttal. I never got the chance to say, okay, hey, well, this is why I did this. I never got the chance to do any of that. And it made me very, very angry. It made me angry to the point where I did not want to be around people. And so we end up having a conversation. It ended with, I love you. And then that was the end of the conversation. And there has been no conversation since. And I've asked God over and over again, like, am I being stubborn, God? Like, am I just being stubborn because, I'm a mature Christian. The Bible says when someone has offended you, you should go and talk to them. But I don't think I'm offended because I don't weigh it. Like, what I feel is I miss you, but I'm not offended. So we end up having a conversation with this particular person who I love and still love, right? And the decision was just best that we go our separate ways. And we did. That was a blessing. I think it was a blessing for them. And I think it was a blessing for us, right? Sometimes you just outgrow situations and you outgrow people, right? And it's not to say that, when you get to a certain level, you just cut people off or you don't acknowledge them it's none of that, because all of that would be a lie of the enemy. But it's simply to say when you get to the point where you can't have a conversation anymore, then it's probably best to move on. Because when you're not having a conversation with the person who you may be feeling it with, then you end up getting more offended with the person who don't even know what they've done. I remember part of the conversation was, I'm gonna put on my leadership hat, and then, I was waiting because obviously when you say I'm about to put on my leadership hat, I'm very submissive. So I submit to that leadership. I respect you in that leadership position. So I literally was waiting on that leadership correction, direction, whatever it was. I'm sure that it would have been helpful. And then it was like, nah, I'm not going to do that. Nah. And so I began to ask God, like, this is really, really hard right now. Now, what I wasn't preparing for, what I didn't prepare for what was going to take place next. Now, before I mention this story, let me back up a little bit. Okay. I hired someone who looked up to me as a role model. I hired someone who I knew was in a very bad financial situation. I paid for this person to move all the way from one state to the next. And I did not know that this person was planting negative seeds around the entire office with everyone. So what I've come to learn through this situation is that anybody who ever have gossip, I will never trust. I just can't. I don't know how, right? If you, I can't trust that, right? Now, if you saying, look, this is what happened, that's not gossiping. That's you making a statement of, this is what was said, this is what took place, right? In this situation, this person who I brought from another state was the sleeper cell that was placed inside my organization. By my love for them, I dismissed my discernment and I allowed them to take root inside the entire organization. So before I know it, people just started quitting for no reason other than this person talks down to me and I'm not working for a company like that. One day my husband came home and this is when I knew it was real. He said, hey, this particular person that works with us said he planned on retiring with us, but because of the person who's in charge, he can't see himself working here that much longer. Mind you, he's been with us since the beginning, so why would he start feeling like that all of a sudden? Now, again, this sleeper cell has not been activated. So that was one situation. The second situation is the one I was talking about where we left each other, where I'm not going to say we left each other on good terms. We left each other with, I love you. Like sometimes that's all you have is, I love you. Like I can't talk right now. I'm not there right now, but I love you. And that's why I say I don't feel like I'm offended. It's like, I love you, but I'm not there right now. I'm not in that place right now. Like, I don't believe that there's any clarification or anything else that needs to be said. And with that, I'll say this. Is it hard? Absolutely. This is a lifer, right? Will it change? By the grace of God, because we serve a God that restores and redeems. And I'm believing that there's going to be a shift that changes with that, only that one particular situation. Every other situation I'm about to tell you about, it can just be thrown out completely. I know that sounds harsh, but I don't even know how else to say it. So then I get a phone call from this sleeper cell who I helped move all the way from one state to the next. And this sleeper cell tells me that someone I know that's very dear to my heart, who me and my husband have been there for a lot. I mean, a lot. And it was never like it, even though it was never asked, it also wasn't like, man, I appreciate this. It was never that. It was always like, well, I don't want God to send a blessing through you. I want God to send it directly through me. What? So it was always that type of mindset, if I'm being honest. And so when I got the phone call from the sleeper cell, which I didn't know was a sleeper cell at the time, they told me that this person came in, brought in all their equipment, and quit. So I just lost 2 key players. Then the next day, I get a phone call. One of the maintenance persons quit. Then the next day, I get a phone call that a site manager has quit. And I'm like, God. That's like how I was. What the heck? You prayed for this, Terrica. You prayed for me to activate this. You prayed for me to show you this. But I have a problem with you, Terrica. You haven't gotten rid of the root of this yet. You see, the root may be the reason why one of the closest people to you is gone. The root of this is still here, and it is still branching out. What are you going to do? I dismissed it. Nah, this person would never do that. I mean, I let them use my car for 30 days. I put them up in a house, no rent. They never had to pay rent. I moved them from the state. I paid for their moving fees. Like, this person should be, I would think this person should be grateful and loyal, but it was not. So I ended up that week just processing and saying, all right, God, this hurts. Like, this really, really sucks right now. So if you can just rip it off like a Band-Aid. You ever had a Band-Aid that's stuck on that little corner piece of hair and you're like, God, just rip it off? That's what I was feeling, because I felt like my whole entire world was caving in and everything was falling on me. And this is just one of my companies. My other companies are still messaging me about the webinars. They still messaging me about the summits. They still messaging me about all the stuff that we got to do. On top of that, my agents are still needing me. On top of that, I still got to be a wife. On top of that, I still got to be a mother. I don't know how many people is as strong as I am. I see a lot of people fold and break in one lane that they're in. And so I got all of these different calls. And on top of that, I got deals that's going on. And I'm like, God, what the heck is going on? You prayed for this. You see, you got to be careful what you pray for, because you'll mess around and pray for something and God will take you through it, because he's not going to just give it to you. You're going to have to go through it. You might want to be careful with how you pray. So after all the people started, folding, I realized, I said, oh, I see what this is. They trying to break me. I've gotten to a level of success where now it's intimidating. And if we don't stop her now, she's going to completely exceed. That's what it was. Now, some people may be like, well, where you get that from? By their actions, by conversations. There was a whole lot of things that led up to this with some of these people, but some of them, it was immediate. And so then I get the phone call, the $1 million phone call. Hey, T, I want to go to breakfast. So I end up going to breakfast. with the sleeper cell and 2 other people. And the sleeper cell goes on to tell me that the office is cutthroat and that the people who I have in very high positions are here to stab me in the back. And that they are planning a coup, whatever that means, and that they are going to try and run the company and all this other stuff. They even went on to make the lie more believable to give me half pieces of stories that they had with different people in the office. Such as one staff member said she was beating her chest, as one staff member said that's why the other person left because of her, she don't respect, just all kind of stuff, telling me all kind of lies, all these lies. Now, I always ask myself this: what makes someone so comfortable to go have a conversation with someone else about you? So why is she comfortable having this conversation with me at breakfast? Why is she telling me all of these things about people I know, I love, and I trust? The only person she didn't tell me nothing about was my business partner. And I'm, by the grace of God, we keep God at the center of that partnership. And he don't mind to tell me when I'm being sassy, is his favorite word. And I don't mind to tell him when he's been wrong. And then we come right back to it. There have been many days where we don't do this anymore because we learn one of us don't like it. I'm not going to say who. One of us don't like when we hang up the phone on each other. I'm not going to say who. But because of out of respect and love, I'm going to end with bye. I'm going to end with bye. But there's a level in our partnership where we had to grow to that point and say, okay, this is what we're going to do. If he told me as his business partner, he don't like when I do something and I continue to do something, I am not a good business partner. Vice versa. If I tell him I don't like when he do something and he continuously do it, I am not a good business partner. And so we make it our business, not just to check the thermostat of the business, but let's check the thermostat of this partnership. Because the enemy is going to try to come in, kill, steal, destroy, and divide. So if we continue to check the thermostat on our partnership, then we know we can handle anything externally. And because we built something that's so successful, it is mind-boggling to people how we've done that. But one thing we've always done is communicated with each other when we didn't even like it. Now, that same opportunity was not granted to me and or my partner when things went south. So the sleeper cell is busy. Oh, she busy. So I'm sitting at breakfast looking at her like this. So then I know I need more information out of her. So I say these exact words. I need for you to look out for me, because if you saying people are stabbing me in the back, you should come tell me every single thing that they're saying. If you telling me that they're stabbing me in my back and that they're talking about me, and you done went and told my best friend all of this stuff, now somebody outside the office know what's going on who shouldn't even know. So I'm already looking at you sideways because you're sharing information that shouldn't be shared anyway. You messy. So I left that breakfast and I prayed. I said, God, I don't know what's true. I don't know what's not true. But I do know that there's truth in all of it. There's some truth. It may be 5% truth, 10% truth, 20% truth. There's truth in all of it. So I called my business partner and I said, hey, this is what's going on. He like, what the heck? I said, I got this information and this is what's taking place. So we begin to pray, but we become alert. Because I don't know how to keep things in for so long, right? If you tell me somebody says something about me, I don't know how not to go and ask them. So don't ever come tell me somebody says something about me, because I don't know how not to go ask them. So I went and confronted the people that she said that was stabbing me in the back. And those people said, that's not how that went. Why would I have a conversation with someone like her about you? So I said, okay. So the very next day, I get a phone call from the sleeper cell. Mind you, she's activated and she's busy right now. I get a phone call from her and she tells me, she says, hey, I'm putting in my 2-week notice. I said, really, where are you going? Now, you know I can't tell you that. No, where you going? So she said, I'm just going to a place where it's one site and I don't have to manage people and all it is. I said, okay, I see what you're doing. You trying to kick me while I'm down, because you seen 4 key people leave the company, and now you want to put the icing on the cake. You think this is the KO. You think that this is the knockout you've been waiting for. You think that this is the part that's going to tear me down. But I have a public service announcement. I am still standing, baby. You never realized this, nor did the other people who left and folded like a piece of paper. Let me just tell you this. I have always been a comeback queen. At 5 years old, I was a comeback queen. At 8 years old, I was a comeback queen. As a teenager, I was a comeback queen. So anytime adversity came my way, I knew how to come back. You forgot what my middle name was. It's Terrica the Comeback Lynn Smith. That's what most people missed. So while you were plotting, trying to take me out, and somebody plotting to try to take you out in your business, they don't know that you the comeback queen. You the comeback king. No weapon formed against me shall prosper. It didn't say it wouldn't hurt. I'm hurt because of this, but I'm still prospering. The weapon will not prosper. The weapon will not get the reward. The sleeper cell will not get the victory. You will not have the victory over my company. You will not have the victory over my friendship. You will not have the victory over my life. Because one thing I know that you don't know is that I serve a forgiving God. I serve a redeeming God. I serve a God that knows how to crush the serpent head with his heel. So because I know who I serve, I know who stands with me in this battle. I know who walks with me in these deep waters, who walks with me when they part in the sea, who walks with me when the lion is trying to attack me from the back and the bear is trying to take me from the front, because I know what it's like to be thrown in a lion's den, because I know what it's like to walk with the 4th man in the fire. There ain't nothing that no sleeper cell that's been placed here, whether by me and or by someone else, can do to activate and kill what God has designed. It won't happen. So I said, God, I am 1,000% okay with everybody leaving at this point, because what you messed around and did and showed me, I have enough money to pay out over $1 million in payroll. Somebody better quit playing with me. So because I understand that, I'm not going to sit here and take the gossiping. I'm not going to sit here and take the slander. I'm not going to sit here and take the backmining and the undermining. I'm not going to sit here and be a part of that. I produce enough to build a team that is excited to be where we're going. That's excited to be where we're headed. That's what I know. I know how to lace up my boots. I know how to put on my book sack. I know how to prepare for this battle. I've been here before. You think I've never been alone before? You think it's just always been me and a whole bunch of other people? No, I know what it's like when it's me and God in my prayer closet. I know what it's like when it's me and God and I'm suicidal. I know what it's like when it's me and God and I'm depressed. I know what it's like when it's me and God and I got $5 to my name. I know what it's like when it's me and God and nobody else want to rock with me because it's not popular no more. I've been Terrica Lynn Smith before the internet. I'm a comeback queen. He built me to come back from every single thing that's been sent to destroy me. You have to understand, if the person that gave me birth tried to destroy me and couldn't break me, there ain't nobody else here on this earth that can do that. I serve a good God. I serve a faithful God. You can't play with me. I'm anointed. I have an anointing on my life. I know how to get on my knees and pray and beg and ask God for forgiveness. I know how to say, God, I'm not perfect. I know how to look at you and say, I'm not perfect. I probably didn't do everything the right way. I probably didn't say everything the right way. I'm human. Can you have some grace for me? Can you forgive me the way that you say God forgive you? Can you love me the way that you say God loves you? Because I know that I'm not perfect. I know that the cross is heavy. I know the cross I'm carrying is heavy. I know the things that I'm going through are heavy right now. But I believe that there ain't a situation, that there ain't no outcome that I can't come back from. So although all of these people quit, all of these people threw in the towel, all of these people who are supposed to, not just the employees, they're not supposed to love me. We work, right? But I'm talking about the ones I had covenant relationships with. There's something that's going to be restored. There's something new, and there's something that's going to take place. And I am going to be a witness to it. As long as you do not allow your heart to harden, God can restore it. As long as you don't allow your heart to harden, he can redeem you. I am the first to say, God, I am sorry. I am a sinner. God, I failed you. I didn't only fail you. I failed my friend. I failed my cousins. I failed my parents. I failed my children. I failed my husband. God, I failed my partner, my business partner. God, I failed. I failed, God. I failed you, God. I failed you. Can you forgive me? Can you forgive me for all those times that I failed, that I wasn't perfect, that I didn't get it right, that I missed the mark? Can you forgive me every time I got frustrated? Can you forgive me every time I rolled my eyes? Can you forgive me every time I was disobedient? Can you forgive me whenever I thought I was right, but I was actually wrong, but I was too cold-hearted to even listen? Can you forgive me? Because I'm not perfect. I'm human. And God, the same grace I'm asking you, can I give it? Can I forgive the one who didn't give me a chance to have a conversation, but chose to have a conversation with someone that's not her best friend? Can I forgive that? Can I forgive the trust that was broken? Can I forgive that we didn't do the 24-hour rule? Can I forgive that? Can I forgive the ones who are supposed to have my back, but they really didn't? Can I forgive that? Can I forgive the gossip that was said about me? Can I forgive the slander that was said about me? Can I forgive that? Yes. If I'm a child of a king, yes, I can forgive that. All the lies spoken about me, yes, I can forgive it. It's lies because you never allowed it to be communicated. It's lies because you made them up and or you heard from a third party who didn't even know what was going on. It's lies. Can I forgive that? Absolutely. I want to be able to issue the same type of forgiveness that God gives me. I fall 99 times, y'all. You may fall 99 times, but don't quit. You may have everybody walk out your office. Don't close the door. This is the refining process. Hurricane Katrina taught me this. A storm does two things. It shows you everything that was destroyed during the storm that was not meant to be left standing. And it shows you everything that's standing that you can count on that is true, strong, and sturdy. True, strong, and sturdy. There's some buildings that got 4 to 6 feet full of water. 6 foot full. Is it feet or foot? Feet, thank you. 6 feet of water. And it's still standing. You may be getting that water, and it may look like it's going above your head, but by the end of this storm, you're still standing. And that right there is what God wants. He wants that kind of heart, the kind that believes when the waters are rising, that you still looking up and saying, God, I trust you. God, I believe you. This sleeper cell came in and tried to destroy my company, but we'll rebuild it. This needed to happen. This was a part of the process. This person was the devil, but by the grace of God, it didn't like destroy everything. Because after the storm left, we saw what was still standing, and we rebuild from there. So God, rebuild my heart, rebuild my trust, rebuild my mind, rebuild my thinking, rebuild my hands, rebuild my relationships, so I can have the same type of forgiveness that you have. Guys, this episode is really called I Am Still Standing. And that is for you. You are still standing. Everything that's been sent to knock you down has not won. Okay? It has not won. You are still standing, and you will remain standing as long as you stand with God. If you enjoyed this episode, do me a favor, click the link below, join the Protégé family. This is where we have these type of conversations at. This is where we hold you accountable at, and we'll love to see you part of the Protégé community. Thank you for enjoying this episode of the PCP. I'll see you next week. I'm out.